I got a friend of mine, his kids, they just took him to Spain. And he said, if you know the money you're spending, to not really be able to like to get everything out of it, just might as well like go just spend the money on the beach house, really beach house. You know, where you and your wife can sit outside and just enjoy. Felt like. Oh, awesome. So we rented out. I'll say you always went down to Cape May. We went there. We used to rent there in the mountains. Yeah, yeah, that's great. Good stuff. That's great. Yeah, so my friends were hired. They're already with these lawyers in South Jersey. Is that right? And their kids were townships. And then they'll spend like most of the time in Cape May, and then go on the building.
agreement. Item number 7. Chief Bendig.
Yes, ma'am. So over the past 4 months, members of the department have been meeting with the approved PennDOT red light enforcement camera vendors to determine which provider would best meet the township's needs. Each vendor conducted a presentation with staff, providing an overview of their product and answering questions relevant to the Arley operations within the township. While all 3 vendors and products provided similar benefits and services, the police department is recommending that Census Gadso be awarded the contract for the red light camera enforcement services. Census Gadso offers township cost neutrality and has a strong working relationship with police departments in both Montgomery and Bucks County. Our township solicitors reviewed and approved the master services agreement that's presented before you. It should be noted that no funds will be needed to be expended under the terms of this master services agreement by the township to begin this program. It is recommended the board authorize staff to approve this master services agreement.
Anybody have any questions?
So, Chief, can you give us some more information as to why they stood out from the others?
First and foremost was the cost neutrality. There is no, there will be no responsibilities by the finance department. We will not be putting money out, taxpayers' money out. It's more or less what will happen is as the program evolves, they will use the money that's generated to offset the cost to the township. So we're not putting money out, taxpayer money out. Also, the company is a little smaller, but it has a really good working relationship with departments in both Bucks and Montgomery County. Abington Township uses this vendor, Warrington Township uses this vendor, and Ben Salem Township uses this vendor. So again, they are pretty much the only vendor that's being utilized in Pennsylvania in the suburban areas, and they have a firm understanding of how the municipalities work, the smaller departments that are just starting to onboard these types of programs.
Chief, will we retain control of where these devices are implemented throughout the township?
So when we looked at this, we took a lot of time, and I have to applaud the efforts of my highway safety unit. We had an obligation, once we decided this was something we had to do or wanted to do, we had to actually request from PennDOT permission to put red light cameras at certain locations that we had identified. We requested 2 locations. They approved 7 locations. So what we did from that point, we looked at those 7 locations and tried to determine which locations we had the highest accident rates. So right now, our intention is to put them on Route 309 at North Wales Road for northbound and southbound on 309, and what would be northbound and southbound on the 202 Parkway at Horsham Road would be the 2 highest accident location areas that we're going to roll this program out at.
Okay. And so right now we are moving forward with just those 2, the plans for the 2 locations, but they were approved, PennDOT approved up to 7.
Correct. They approved 7 locations within the township. And I knew you were going to ask that, and my computer just went down. So
The ordinance actually outlines the 7 locations, and then if we want to add more, the ordinance will have to be amended, correct?
no, not. I don't believe the ordinance. The ordinance, it just allows us the opportunity to the permitted locations by PennDOT, which will allow us that latitude. If we want to expand, we do not have to come back and re-amend the ordinance. We just, because PennDOT regulates where we can and where we cannot, they're actually the ones that will tell us, no, yes. So it's just more or less, I believe it speaks clearly to the fact that PennDOT only authorized at PennDOT locations, authorized locations.
Okay, but the ordinance actually lists those 7.
Correct. They're the only 7 locations we can put them in.
It's so that we don't have to
So
come back.
that's it.
So
Yes.
we chose 2 because we didn't want to wait it. Well, before we knew PennDOT was going to come back with more, we picked the ones that we thought were the most serious in need of something. We've tried, as you know, the board has approved any number of things. We've tried a lot of different, education tools, the speed trailers, directed enforcement by patrol. We cannot be everywhere at once, and we cannot just position ourselves at a couple of intersections. To our surprise, maybe not to Officer Byrne and Officer Jenkins, but they came back with 5 additional. And because if this works successfully, we want to keep moving forward. The solicitor's office recommended we include all of them in here.
I think that's a great recommendation.
Great.
I was just curious to know, if the agreement with the vendor who we've selected was for 2 or for 7. And right now it's just
I think we're going to ease into this slowly because again, this could be a heavy lift. You know, that's what we want to see, exactly what we're going to get here. And again, that's why we went and chose those 2 accident areas, because they were the highest. And we'll see, we'll evaluate. And there's a lot that goes with this as far as a public education piece as well. The vendor has a very robust, we'll build out the website, a lot of information there. So there's going to be a lot to do once we start this, and then we'll see, we'll evaluate it after a year and see where we are.
So you would wait a year, is what you're saying, before we would evaluate whether or not we would roll out another 1, 2, 3, 4 more?
I would say yes. And there's some of the locations that are listed, for example, the 5 Points intersection, obviously because of the construction there, there's some concern on our part to expend resources when the area may be torn up. I have had some conversations with PennDOT and made some suggestions that maybe they might want to implement that as part of that scaled project. That would probably be a really good idea. So, you know, we're trying to work through some of those things, but again, you know, we'll do baby steps with this, because again, there's just it's a lot. It's a lot. So
Baby steps are good.
Thank you and the department for your work on this too.
again, I'm very appreciative of my highway safety unit. And again, the township engineer, you know, when we meet every month, we really, we tackle a lot of great problems. We do a lot of great work, and it's really good to see that we can all sit at a table and work together to try and resolve some of these issues and concerns and really work on the safety of, you know, our citizens. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to move to authorize staff to approve the master services agreement.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item, number 8, JP Morgan Chase Bank Land Development Application 23-003.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? Again, Bob Careless, Cozen O'Connor, representing JP Morgan
I'm
Chase
sorry.
Bank. I can, do you want to, I think I can.
You can do the
Okay.
intro. They've seen it before.
Do a much better job than I will. You can, we were before you on May 28th to present our application and plan for preliminary final approval. You recall there was a discussion at that point about a waiver request that Chase was seeking to make modifications to the corner of North Wales Road and 309. You'll note that there's a revised resolution before you tonight where that waiver request has gone away. The only other substantive change to the resolution is in the course of sharpening our pencils, working with all the stakeholders involved. We did lose a tree on 309, so now we are requesting our waiver for 3 shade trees along 309. But in conjunction with working with your landscape architect, as we agreed in May, we will agree to provide the township a fee in lieu for any deficient non-planted trees. So in other words, we will comply now with Gilmore's letter with respect to the requested turning radius. And the plan otherwise remains as we presented it in May.
Mr. Doherty, we have no other outstanding worries? Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Appreciate that you went back and we were able to work this out, because it was really important for us to have that be a safe corner for everyone. You know, we hear there's so many accidents there already, so we appreciate it.
No, we're
Everything
happy
that you
that we
did
were able to
and that
figure
you
something out that works for
stayed with
everybody.
us, because we're excited to have you in the township.
Oh, thank you.
If there's nothing else, I'm going to move to adopt resolution 2024-14, approving the preliminary final land development application with requested waivers for JP Morgan Chase Bank NA. Second. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you very much. Have a nice night.
Have a good night. Number 9, Taco Bell double drive-through land development application, Marianne McConnell, Director of Planning and Zoning.
So Montgomeryville Investors has submitted a land development application to add a second drive-through ordering kiosk and associated drive aisle to their current existing Taco Bell located along Bethlehem Pike. There are no changes in the use, no changes to the proposed building itself. They were at the Planning Commission during the June 20th meeting, in which they recommended that the Board of Supervisors approve the application subject to township staff and consultants' recommendations. We have a representative here tonight to go through the project with you and the requested waivers.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Cleary with the Pettit Group. I'm the engineer for the applicant. The improvements to the site are fairly minor. It's converting a single drive-through to a dual drive-through with 2 menu boards. We received a special exception to allow the 2 menu boards on the property. We've gone through a couple round of review comments with the township professionals. We saw the planning commission a couple weeks ago. They had no issues with the waivers we were requesting as long as we met the conditions of the township professional review letters, which we will. I'll just go quickly through the waivers. So waiver from providing street widths, railroads, property lines, and other existing improvements within 400 feet of the property. A waiver from providing existing roadway information. Waiver from providing a dedicated loading space. The Taco Bell currently doesn't have one, and all their loading operations occur overnight when the building's closed. From having a licensed PA landscape architect sign the plans. The landscaping design for this development was based upon the original design plans. So I just took those species and moved them around or added them where necessary. So we didn't think a licensed landscape architect was required. To permit the disturbance of greater than 25% of an existing tree's canopy, the root under their canopy. If any of those plants were to die, we would replace them. And then from providing a traffic management study, the building's not changing. We're only improving operations on the property by adding the second drive-through ordering station. And then the last waiver, which wasn't technically presented at the planning commission meeting because it was discussed at the meeting, was from providing sidewalk along the Bethlehem Pike frontage. This application or this property, when it was originally developed and approved in, I think, 2004, but recorded in 2010, a waiver was granted from providing sidewalk as long as they made a payment in lieu, which the applicant, which is the applicant for this development as well, paid the fee in lieu.
Yeah, after he's finished, I just like to comment.
So that wasn't presented at the planning commission meeting because we didn't know if we actually needed the waiver or not, or if it was satisfied with the original application. However, it was discussed. We're requesting the waiver since the fee in lieu was previously paid. We believe that condition was met with the original application. However, we were told that we need to request a formal waiver.
I just wanted to, Thank you very much. As you heard from the applicant's engineer, the original application was in 2004. This was 20 years ago. The original application did not contemplate 2 lanes. Our staff's view and our office's view has been this is a new land development application because of the lapse of time and the significant changes to the plan. Mr. Walco communicated to the applicant that this board has traditionally not waived sidewalks in the last 4 years. And it's our view that if this board chose to deny that waiver, but say approve the rest of the plan, you would be well within your rights.
Thank you, Solicitor. Good to know, because we do want sidewalks wherever we can. As people are developing and redeveloping, we have been requiring everyone to do that. So I think I speak for all of us in that we would not grant the waiver for the sidewalk.
So what I would request is if the waiver, which it sounds like will not be granted, as part of your professionals' reviews, they requested that we provide a sidewalk access from Airport Road, which is the property has 2 frontages. That driveway entrance to the property has significant slopes to it, and we would have to construct a fairly expensive sidewalk connection since we're now required, or it sounds like we'll be required to provide sidewalk along Bethlehem Pike. Could we change our connection from the building to the sidewalk to connect with Bethlehem Pike and not Airport Road?
North Wales Road, you mean?
Rose Road, yeah.
Yes, sorry, the Airport Square
That's,
Shopping Center is going in. Throwing me off. Yes, North Wales. I apologize.
I would think that's gonna be a hard no as well because we have so many walkers on North Wales Road. Just, there's kids, I think there's just too many pedestrians to not have a sidewalk there.
No. There is sidewalk on North Wales,
Yeah.
but not
Across the
a
street.
connection from that public sidewalk up to the Taco Bell. So there will be continuous sidewalk along North Wales, around the corner, and to Bethlehem Pike.
Okay,
But what I'm requesting is our connection from the entrance of the side, or the entrance of the Taco Bell to the public sidewalk, for that connection to go to Bethlehem Pike and not to North Wales Road.
so are they just gonna walk up the driveway then? I mean, people walking on North Wales Road, there's not a entrance per se, but they would just come in the driveway?
Mr. Clear, do you have the plan on your laptop put up on the screen so we can at least get a visual?
Wouldn't we ordinarily have both access points from both like pedestrian and entry points, potentially from North Wales Road and?
Yeah, yeah. It seems like,
What I'm thinking might be.
Right, I want to be clear on this.
Or, I'm sorry, I thought it was
Because
the
kids
township,
want
so I
their
can-
Taco Bell.
mhm.
okay.
And I don't want them walking on the road or on the driveway. It's just not safe.
Jim can view it as well.
All right. So here's Bethlehem Pike. So we currently have sidewalk that runs along a good distance of our property that takes you to the front door. We would just connect it ultimately to the sidewalk along Bethlehem Pike. But our concern about North Wales is the elevation difference between the front of the building and the sidewalk along North Wales is about 6 feet. It's not an easy access for people to get from the sidewalk up to the building. It would require a fairly significant ADA ramp. And if we weren't to construct this, I can't see anyone walking up the driveway. It's currently how it's built. There's no connection there. Currently, there's sidewalk running along the property along North Wales, and we don't know of anyone walking up the fairly steep driveway.
And so, share again what you're recommending.
So what we're recommending is instead of having this sidewalk connection from North Wales Road, we just provide the sidewalk connection to the Bethlehem Pike sidewalk that we will now have to construct since the waiver won't be approved.
But they're not gonna do that. I mean, let's be real. It's kids on their skateboards, on their bikes. They're not gonna take extra time to go to 309 to use the entrance. They're gonna whip in through the driveway, which I think is our concern because it's kids. I would like to see both.
So the driveway we're talking about is the drive lane for vehicles to come in. So there's a path, there's a sidewalk, there's a break for the driveway, and then it continues again. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's inviting people to use the driveway.
Mhm.
Although that's the way it's been, correct?
Yes.
How long has that been? Since 2010 when this was?
Yes.
That is, I mean, we're just down the road when we were looking at a land development plan recently for another fast food chain, that's going to be opening. a short distance away, and they're connecting to a sidewalk, with a significant elevation gain. Isn't, the steps that are going up to, what is that?
Canes.
The
Raising Cane.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the exact grade of it.
But
They are
it's not
connecting.
ADA accessible, it's steps, right? It's stairs, right? Or are they, I'm just wondering whether or not a similar scenario is like feasible there, but without those to reference,
I
it's hard
think
to
we would be
describe.
happy to put steps in instead of this fairly expensive and in-depth ADA ramp with retaining walls and railing. So we would much rather put steps in here. That would be easy. But we were originally told by the township professionals to add an ADA accessible sidewalk.
I mean,
So we can provide the ADA sidewalk from Bethlehem Pike and provide steps on this side on North Wales. We'd be happy to do that.
Is that, all right,
It's an accessibility requirement.
We had comment about the ramp from North Wales is there's a building code requirement to have at least one ADA accessible route from the public right away. So at the time, there's and still there's no sidewalk on that place. So the one place to put that accessible route was from North Wales. I'd also point out that with another application that is approved to like eventually there's a signal at that intersection. So if I remember correctly, the accessibility code requires at least one pedestrian route from the public right of way. So if they add sidewalks to Bethlehem Pike and include an accessible route from Bethlehem Pike, might be a possibility of only doing steps from North Wales Road. Or I would say that in confidence, double check the code just to make sure.
I would see that as an acceptable compromise, as long as we had the ADA accessibility from Bethlehem Pike.
And we would be happy to work that out with your professionals.
And that's how the resolution basically reads, would be the satisfaction of the township engineer.
Okay.
So long as Jim and Damon understood your intent, that could be something that could be looked at and worked out. I'm sure.
Still better pedestrian access than exists.
Yeah, the
And
goal
there's
has
the same
been,
corner as the bank then as well, so we can continue to.
yeah, that's been the goal of the board since you all came on, was that we build that connectivity a piece at a time. You
Yes.
saw everybody walking,
It's
especially during the pandemic. You saw the bags they were carrying, so you could see where they were going from as they walked along North Wales Road. Our thought was putting the sidewalk along 309, fixing any issues on North Wales Road. And to Jim's point, that signal is supposed to go in when the Village of Windsor builds,
Right.
which again is going to create more connectivity because
Traffic.
there'll be ability to cross over as well.
Yes.
okay, so we're good with steps and an ADA ramp of some sort on the 309 entrance.
Okay. I guess my last question would be, if the waiver is formally denied, would the applicant be entitled to a refund of their payment in lieu, as that was?
No,
Not if this is a new.
no,
This is a new
we're
one.
not doing this as a new application. That was used for purposes that were provided by the code at the time. So the answer from our position is no.
Understood.
Okay. So if I'm going to move to accept this, do we need
So
to
it'll be a-
comment? on
Yeah, it would be a motion to approve the resolution, but deny waiver of one.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, everyone agrees?
Yes.
I'm going to move to adopt resolution 2024-16, approving the preliminary final land development plan application with requested waivers, except for number 1, dealing with the sidewalk, submitted by Montgomeryville Investors LLC for Taco Bell.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
There's also the sidewalk on the other side.
On North Wales.
On North Wales.
But I think Some of that is coming.
Village of Windsor. Yeah.
Village of Windsor, I think. Okay, moving on, item number 10, 309 Auto Vest Properties LP, Montgomeryville, Mitsubishi. Mary Ann McConnell.
Tonight, we have the applicant submitted an amendment to a previously approved land development for the construction of a Mitsubishi dealership on an existing site where there's currently an Acura dealership. The previous approved plan had a future dealership noted on that plan. We have Mr. Jonas here tonight to present the project to you. They did go before the Planning Commission at June 20th, in which the Commission recommended the Board of Supervisors approve the amended application subject to township staff and consultant recommendations.
Good evening.
Good
I'm Mark
evening.
Jonas. I represent the applicant and the Knappen family. This is an amended application based on a plan that was approved back in 2004. So 20 years later, we're here to finish up the plan that was approved then. We'd like to have display the 2004 plan. And at that time, you'll see there was an area on the site that was reserved for a future dealership. And the proposal today is to put a Mitsubishi dealership exactly in the location that was contemplated in 2004. You have seen this application and the plan before by conditional use approval in November of 23. We have two waivers. One has to do with striping to match the striping on the rest of the property with the other dealerships. The other waiver has to do with the disturbance, is a small amount of disturbance. So we're asking for a waiver from the Conservation District review. The Planning Commission has seen this, has recommended the approval of the plan and recommended the waivers. We have seen the draft resolution that we appreciate the solicitor providing to us in advance. The draft of that is acceptable to the applicant. Our professional staff is here as well as representatives of the Knappen family.
Do we have any questions or anything unanswered?
And I guess that's within our purview not to request that review from the planning committee or the conservation district.
Yes, it is a provision of your code that would allow that to happen. There's a small amount of disturbance because this is an amended application and just a small portion of the site is being disturbed. Mr. Stoneback can provide more details on that if you'd like. I'm just the liberal arts major, so what do I know?
I don't remember having to deal with the conservation district at this point, like to waive something. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
We wouldn't, with your solicitor here, we would not ask for a waiver that you can't give.
So it's
Thank you, Mark.
It's his fault.
Kenny would be all over me.
Jim, anything? Okay. It looks nice and clean to me and straightforward.
I'm glad you were planning so far ahead.
Knappen family has been a good neighbor to us, so we're happy to have you keep doing business here with us. If there's no questions, I'm going to move to adopt Resolution 2024-17, approving the preliminary final land development amendment application with requested waivers submitted by 309 Auto Vest Properties LP for a Mitsubishi dealership at 1009 to 1011 Bethlehem Pike.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'll waive my closing argument.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
That's enough reason to give it approval. Thank you.
Number 11. Proposal to amend the township zoning code BP regulations. Mary Ann McConnell.
Mr. Dunleavy owns two adjacent properties located at the corner of Horsham and Upper State Road. In 2008, these properties, along with several others along Horsham Road, were rezoned from residential R2 to BP Business Professional with a corresponding zoning text amendment, creating special regulations where BP abuts a residential zoning district. Mr. Dunleavy, do we have Mr. Kaplan here tonight? Do we have Mr. Kaplan here tonight, or they are proposing to do a text amendment from the current size provision?
I'm not quite sure what happened, but Mr. Kaplan is not here. And we have been in touch with Jessica Welsh, who is his top secretary, of course. I believe that she is on her way here, to the best of my knowledge. But again, I'm not sure what happened to Mr. Kaplan, other than he was out of the country, and I guess he was delayed coming back, perhaps. I apologize. I have no other information I can give you. If you want to ask some questions about my property at 1008 Upper State Road, I guess I could respond to it. However, I would prefer to do it with Mark Kaplan here. So could a request be made to, since they're not here, to table this for the moment?
Sure.
Yeah, just to let you know, this was just discussion. Like a formal application would still need to be submitted to the township for formal review by staff, the county, through the planning commission, authorized advertisements. So tonight's purpose was just a discussion to present their idea and what they were looking to do and get a feel for your thoughts on it.
That's fine. Let's just move that to the next meeting that Mr. Kaplan could.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We're fine moving that to the next meeting where Mr. Kaplan could accompany you.
Yeah, so we'll table it for the
Sure.
moment. Is that it?
Yes.
We have the lawyer, Carrie, on the way. She said to be here about 10 minutes.
A secretary really should not be presenting the
Well,
zoning
she's-
change, someone from Mr. Kaplan's.
I'm sorry?
A secretary, so you're presenting a zoning change.
Well, she's not
So
really a
secretary is,
She's like, what do you call Jessica?
Jessica Welsh, she's Mark Kaplan's main lady.
Paralegal.
So I sent Mr. Kaplan an email on Friday morning telling him that this was in fact on the agenda to confirm it, because there was some confusion. Because in the past, they've come in and made their presentation, their formal application. The board voted one way or the other. We've encouraged applicants to come in and talk to the board, sort of take your temperature before they expend time and resources on a project. You know, they have a staff meeting, and then we said, come to the board, you know, show what you want. And then because understanding with a text amendment, of course, it's not just this parcel, it's going to affect other parcels that fall into this category. So the plan was to have them there tonight, and in your packet is the proposed text amendment. It's also renderings of what they were proposing there. And then if the board, the majority consensus said, yeah, we think this is a good use, then they would in fact move forward, and to Mary Ann's point, make the formal application, which would then go to your planning commission. Obviously, your consultants would go to the county planning commission, and then would come to you for, you know, a hearing on the proposed text amendment.
and your discretion on the text amendment is totally yours. It's discretionary. Either if you do not like this proposal, you do not have to move forward on it. I believe staff and Ms. McCurry was just asking for guidance, as basically guidance to the applicants that don't expend unneeded funds.
Okay, let's just wait until your attorney
So
can be here.
We'll table it for the moment.
Yes.
Are we
Thank
waiting for the lady? Oh, no.
No,
No.
we'll table it. That's
Wait for the
best.
next meeting.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
problem. And then our last item, review of, no, it's not our last item. 12, review of zoning hearing board applications. Mary Ann McConnell.
So included in your packet is a summary of the applications before the zoning hearing board at their July 10th meeting. The board may remain neutral on the applications and let the zoning hearing board render a decision based on the testimony presented, or the board may send the solicitor's office to oppose an application. This action would require motion, second, and vote of the board. So we have the attached agenda if you have any questions on the applications.
Does anyone have any concerns that we need to send council to zoning hearing board?
No, I
I
think
feel like they can handle this.
they can handle it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to speak to it at all about the implications of the house with the proposed addition?
The second application is
Just so the board's aware.
is a relative suite proposed addition. The big request would be that we allow a single floor relative suite, 700 square feet maximum by code. They are asking for 3 levels, a basement, a first floor, and a second floor, with total square footage of 3,400 square feet.
So they're building like another house on there.
It's bigger than my house.
I do have the plan here if you wanted to see a quick plan of it. I have a visual.
That's a heck of an addition.
Yeah, relative.
Well, so they're technically making a duplex.
A decent sized lot.
Not sure.
No, but that's not here.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
The reason that we wanted to bring this to the board's attention is just because the zoning hearing board obviously is independent of you. So any decision they make, if you don't like it, you would have to go and file an appeal against your own zoning hearing board. The magnitude of this in that area, it's a precedent set then to build an addition on that's basically the size of the original home. So we just wanted to make sure, we're not suggesting that you send the solicitor, but we want to make sure you understand this isn't just a minor.
The full application.
Thank you.
This is a whole other house.
It is.
Is there a reason that we should think more on this? It's precedent setting.
Is it zoned for, I mean, it's, what is it zoned for currently?
It's zoned for single family detached dwelling
Okay.
with the relative suite is a provision as an accessory with those limitations.
And is the applicant obligated to share how many people intend to?
They are limited to 2.
They're limited to
They are
2.
limited to 2.
Because it seems, you know, like an excessive amount of space for 2 additional people
Mhm.
to occupy.
Correct.
So I guess the decision then is to either send the solicitor to say, hey, we're not sure we like this, but will the zoning hearing board already be on that page as well? Like,
I mean, I feel like the zoning hearing board has done a really good job
They have.
recently, and you know, it's not that I don't have confidence in them, although I'm very curious to learn a little bit more about what the plans are for this space, because that's really, you know, a lot of additional
How many
space.
bedrooms are we? 3 bedrooms for 2 additional people.
Based on memory, I think there's 1 in the basement and 2 on the second floor.
I'm guessing there's egress in the basement if they have a bedroom down there.
It would be required.
Right.
If it's not shown on the plan, it would be required. Egress window or Bilco door.
Yeah. All that ensuite.
It's a little strange.
There is a separate side entrance and foyer into the, from the
And
first
this
floor.
wouldn't be a rental.
There would be a deed restriction required.
In a home office.
So if they were trying to have a home occupation, that would be a whole other permit required?
Correct.
It seems a lot if everyone else that we've ever approved is 700 square feet or less.
Right, it's like a, for mother-in-law suite,
It's a whole other order of magnitude.
you know,
I
with
mean,
like a little, like, full
Yeah,
bath
like an
and
in-law suite that has the
Yeah.
little kitchen,
no,
bedroom.
but we,
a little
like-
tiny sitting area.
I've seen a lot of in-law suites built in my profession. Because all I work with are home remodelers who do these kind of home additions all the time. And that's the most
Have you seen a
massive-
house?
Never.
This is a whole
That's
house.
That's massive.
I mean, it seems as maybe a family that said, we just don't want to buy another structure. I would rather,
so it becomes a duplex as opposed to a
Right.
single.
this seems like it's a duplex.
I don't love the precedent that it sets.
I don't either, because I feel as if with the housing market as it is, this could really set a problem with.
Well, and I don't know. Neighbors, how close is it now gonna be to the property line?
I mean, it looked like the lot could accommodate it. It seemed as if, it was a large enough
It's even,
parcel.
it's even a two-car garage.
Well, I, for one, am not a fan of it, so let's see, how many of us think that we should send someone in opposition? I would send someone in opposition. No, let it go?
No, I'm just thinking.
I mean, it's so unusual. I gotta trust that the zoning hearing board is also gonna go,
What's this?
what's up with this? This is, gonna raise some, I would
The
think.
meeting is
flag.
Wednesday. Mhm. So the only concern is if you don't send an opposition, then they don't know what your concerns are. That's up to you.
Just tell them we have concerns.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's
I-
reasonable.
I have concerns.
And I do too. I think we all do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then,
So
let's send solicitor in opposition. We have concerns.
Or is it opposition versus just sending to say the board has concerns in here or what they are?
Can we,
Are we?
Well, opposition to what is
being
proposed.
presented.
To what is being proposed. Yeah.
Correct. Giving them the option, they could pull it and then come back with something else, but to go from what's permitted at 700 and some square feet, this is a material difference. This is different than I'm permitted a 10-foot setback from my yard, back of my yard, and I'm asking for 15. Like, this is a lot. And to someone's point, you said, the impact it has. We just wanted to make sure you were aware, because again, if the zoning hearing board, thinks, okay, it's not great, but we'll allow it, then now you've got it, and people can point to that for when they come in and want to do something. And I think to Ms. Staub's point with the housing market, the way it is, I just felt like the board needs to understand the implications of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Okay. Going into Public Works now. Number 13, authorization to bid the purchase and installation of rectangular rapid flashing beacons on Stump Road. Greg Reef, Public Works Director.
Good evening. Included in the 2024 budget is the purchase and installation of rectangular rapid flashing beacons to be installed on Stump Road in the area of Commerce Drive to further aid in promoting walkability in the township. Competitive bids will be solicited utilizing Penn Bid website. A total of $280,000 was included in the 2024 capital investment plan for the purchase and installation of the rectangular rapid flashing beacons on Stump Road. It would be our recommendation the Board of Supervisors approves the authorization for the advertisement of the bid.
Sounds like a good thing.
Greg, does this also include the sidewalk that's going to be installed, or is this solely for the beacons? This is for the whole project.
This was for the whole project.
And we had the grant application for this. Were we awarded the grant?
We were awarded,
we
we
were
were
awarded
awarded a
the grant.
state grant, so we withdrew our application from the county because we can't get it twice.
Darn. Okay. I'm going to move to authorize the advertisement of the bid for the purchase and installation of rectangular rapid flashing beacons utilizing Penn Bid.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
And then lastly, authorization to bid the purchase and installation of LED parking lot lights at the administration building. Greg Reef, Public Works Director.
Included in the 2024 budget is a purchase and installation of LED parking lot lights to be installed at the administration building. Competitive bids will be solicited utilizing the Penn Bid website. Total of $65,000 was included in the 2024 capital investment plan for the purchase and installation of the parking lot lights to be installed here at the building. It's our recommendation that the Board of Supervisors approves the authorization for the advertisement of the bid.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Going to move to authorize the advertisement of the bid for the purchase and installation of LED parking lot lights to be installed at the administration building utilizing Penn Bid.
second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Is there any old business that we need to talk about? Is there any new business? I'm gonna move that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody have a good night. Thanks for coming out.